Welcome back to the episode of Unranked Podcast. We're going to chat about today. Pistons Summer League, as of July 17th, they played 3 games. So we're just going to talk through a little bit of what we've seen from Ron Holland, Bobby Clintman. Yeah, both been playing solid. The team as a whole, 2-1, beat the Rockets yesterday. So I'll kick it over to you and just want to see your thoughts on what you've seen from our new rookies and even some of our second year guys as well these last few games.
Yeah, no, I'm pleasantly surprised. I guess is the simplest way to sum it up. I think we all kind of I don't want to say bad an eye, but batted an eye when we got Ron Holland a little bit. I know he's one of the players I talked about, but also one of the high risk, high reward players that we mentioned. So we all kind of said we need shooting. We went with a guy unproven shooter. And then we moved up in the draft and drafted a guy that nobody's ever heard of. And both of those players have played well. Ron Holland had a mysterious sit out, but that's besides the point. When he's playing good. Had a massive dunk on somebody last night. He looked good out in transition. He's what I'll say about him is his game is he knows how to play his game. It doesn't look like anybody's out there trying to figure out what they want to do. Same with Bobby. Uh, who I've seen people dub as, the Swede freak or, Giannis Jr. things like that. I don't want to put that on him yet, but when I watch his game, I would say I'm very impressed. I think I watched a good, probably, I'm not going to say a lot of the people, but I probably, of the 3 games, I probably watched 8 quarters total, maybe 7 quarters total. So I'm watching a decent amount of game, but if not, I'm checking out those highlights on YouTube. And
Mm-hmm.
one particular time I was just staring at um um Bobby, and I cannot say his last name to save the life of me. Catman, yeah. And he just looks very polished. I was watching him. There's a couple of plays where the ball, he's kind of on the opposite side of the court, away from the ball, and he kind of just he gets the ball handler's attention and kind of trickles his way into the paint. Sasser crosses some people up, gets to the paint, nice dish for an easy dunk. Watching him kind of run in transition, get easy layups, easy dunks. One game he was 4 of 8 from three. He's shooting in the mid to upper 30s for the 3 games as far as the 3-point percentage goes. I love that. And just looking at him, he looks like an NBA player. He looks like a guy who you can look up in a handful of years and he'll be a massive contributor on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And he seems to be like all the rest of the Euros, and all of his game sliders are kind of up. He can pass, he can shoot, dribble pretty well, pretty high IQ. So he seems to be of that ilk. And when you look at his journey from coming from Europe, playing over there professionally, he went to um,
Wake Forest.
Wake Forest, did not do the greatest there. But when you look at he only played like 16 minutes a game or something. If you look at his per 36 stats, they're pretty good. Per 16, you look at it, you're like, oh, he's only giving you like 5 and 4. But you extrapolate that twice, he's damn near averaging a double double. So, in very spotty minutes. So I just look at it as, and then he went over and played in Australia. So he has continued to increase on his level of game, and his game is traveling with him. So overall, I'm very, very pleased in that. Sasser looks good. Sasser looks like a guy how you want him to look his second time around. Uh, Shot the hell out of the ball last year. Shot the hell out of the ball this summer league, and now he's starting to do more things like be a real point guard, run the show, get people involved, not just get his own shot off. So I think he's showing another level of maturity in that as well. So sorry. And considering Asar Thompson isn't playing, Duran's not playing, some of the other guys that you might think would trickle in for some minutes around here aren't playing due to whatever reason. So we have a group of young guys out there, and they're playing well. But only the handful of players we really need to care about are going to be involved with our real roster. And all those guys, whether it's Sasser, um, Ron Holland, they all
Mm-hmm.
are contributing in their own unique way, and just taking those next steps for the players we've seen last year, and just proving themselves. Ron Holland, um, I don't know. I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good with both of those picks. I think we turned the page. I think we.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. A lot of what you said. Yeah, I mean, I'm just impressed at like how polished like both these guys look. Obviously we know Ron Holland playing in the G League. He's playing against like, NBA players, fringe NBA guys, guys from overseas, high level competition. Um, you can just tell like, he can just get like buckets. Like, first game he was a little shaky. I think he shot like 5 of 15. But he, almost dunked on somebody. He has some pretty impressive moves. You can see he's very comfortable, like ISO, in that like mid range area. Um, has hit a couple threes. Jump shot, everything just looks solid. He just looked like he just looks like a guy that as soon as you get a little weight on him, a little more experience, like you definitely see him being like a Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum type. I mean, that'd be a slam dunk for us if he can put the work in and get to that level. And yeah, like you said, I mean, Clint, man, I'm kind of like blown away. Honestly, like getting a guy like that, just like I mean, they were kind of saying he might be more of a G League guy, but then you saw a couple weeks later he ended up signing like a fully guaranteed contract to actually be on the roster. Like you said, I think you had mentioned he was going to Wake Forest, and yeah, it sounded like he just entered the draft, and they were kind of like, well, they think you're ready, and then he's kind of opted to go overseas, which is kind of cool to kind of go that route and instead of going back to school. Um, Very productive seeing off the bench too. And I mean, he looks super comfortable out there. He looks
Yeah.
super comfortable shooting a three. 4 of 8 against the Rockets a couple of days ago. Um, yeah, I think both of them are just like those prototypical 6'8", 6'7" and 6'10" players that can just play defense. That's one thing too. I feel like they're like prioritizing defense. That's like you can just tell like there's like a little bit of like a little more tenacity on that side of the ball, to just play well on that side of the ball. So yeah, I mean I'm happy with what I see and looking forward to seeing how they're implemented into the rotation as we get preseason and in the start of the regular season in the next few months.
Right. I think you made a good point on just the comfortability with both the players. They look like guys that, yeah, maybe I really don't see either one of them happen in the G League. I think our team is we have that good mix of clearly you look at the Twitter potential depth charts and some of these
Mhm.
guys are sprinkled within. And I can't think of anybody in particular that's going to rob these guys of call it 15 20 minutes a game. I think
Mhm.
particular Ron Holland. We took him with the fifth pick. If that fifth pick don't play in the league, we got a problem.
Right.
Right away.
Yeah.
As far as the 34th pick, we moved up. I think he or 37, whenever it was. I think he's an interesting one because I could not tell you who it was. I wish I could give him credit, but some random podcaster on YouTube showed a mock draft from 3 or 4 months ago where he was a top 20 pick.
Hmm.
So I think it's one of those guys where he was his range was so long or his range was so vast and where he could get
Yeah.
drafted at
I
that
got a note like 20th to like early second
yeah
round. I wonder what
yeah
happened there.
it is so it's one of those things maybe he came over and couldn't hit the side of a basket in the camps maybe it's one of those weird things where he but he seems to be a game time player and there's practice players and then there's people who won't do a lick of homework but they can ace the test and I think he might
Mhm.
if he's one of those guys hey that's what matters is getting it done when we're keeping track of wins and losses here so I'm very optimistic on the squad. I just think in general, you know, uh, obviously we know the Cade, Ivy, Duran, Thompson, um, Foncecchio, the match that we had out last year, mixed in the 500 more 3 pointers, mix in these good young guys like to run the floor, jump, dunk. I can see kind of what we're building here. And you look at just the turnaround that Trajan Langdon has done since getting the job, let's call it June 1. If he June 1 to July 17th, where we are now, I feel night and day better. We made the right decision on coach. We made the right decisions on some it looks like we made the right decisions on these draft picks.
Mhm.
You know, I think he seems to have, if you know, we're in a sinking boat, he definitely stopped the sinking. And now we just got to kind of figure out, evaluate from where we are here, roll into this season. But, you know, kind of what are your thoughts on, you know, let's call it the first 8 weeks of Trajan Langdon's reign here, from the firings to the hirings to the draft, you know, kind of,
Yeah.
I don't want to say a letter grade, but necessarily, you know, how do you feel about him?
Yeah. I think, yeah. I know what you're talking about doing later grade, but I feel like that would kind of be, I feel like you'd almost have to kind of give him an A, but like it's not like a realistic grade in my opinion. You know what I don't know. So I won't give him a grade, but like I'll just say impressed. Like I doubt the dude has slept really any if it probably did the first few weeks. But I don't know. It's just a night and day difference. And obviously, you know, we talked in the last pod, just not getting too excited because it's July, you know, but the moves just look vastly different. I mean, we actually signed you know, like high caliber free agents, traded for a shooter. You know, we haven't taken on any, you know, bad contracts for more assets yet, you know, in like a kind of like in a buyout type deal.
Right.
I'll just kind of be interested to see how strategic we are about those kind of things because, you know, with Weaver, you know, we had like 3, 4 guys that trade them, they bounce, trade them, bounce, trade them, bounce, and it'd be kind of nice to kind of like, you know, maybe get in on one of these deals to get like a, you know, a solid player, maybe sit beside Cade as we're, you know, still transitioning like, you know, through to another from one rebuild to another rebuild. But yeah, I mean, getting hired basically the Monday after labor or yeah, Monday after Memorial Day or Tuesday after Memorial Day, hiring a coach, drafting players, signing free agents, getting K that extension. Um, yeah, I mean, I think he just went down the list, and you know, I don't feel there was a point where I felt a little behind or like nervous, you know, just as far as like we know we're probably the worst team in the league, but like I feel like he kind of made us like look somewhat competitive on paper in like a month. So
Yeah.
very impressed with what I've seen so far.
Yeah. No, I'm a second a lot of that. I think one thing he's proven is, at least to this far, and it seems to be what he does. He's a man on a mission, and he. Um, I'm not going to act like I knew who he was prior to him getting hired, but there are tons of those guys around the league that are difference makers, needle movers, that are in random front office jobs, assistant GMs, whoever that really knows what's happening and can just looking for an opportunity. I mean, I don't know his exact age, but he's still fairly young. He's had some pretty high up gigs, whether it's with the Pelicans or I think he even, I could be tripping, but he managed like the Nets or some shit. Not the like
G League.
the Mets. No. I thought he did something in baseball too. Um, but
Oh, I didn't see
well,
that.
regardless, yeah, no, I think he is like you said, he's I don't want to give a letter grade also, but I would say I think I at least was grading Troy Weaver way too easy. I'll say that. So
You're kind of
I think,
blinded. Yeah.
yeah, we got blinded. We were drinking the Kool-Aid. We wanted it to work. We
Number one
figured,
pick. You
yeah, we got
know,
number one pick.
that was a
What
no
can we go
brainer.
wrong? Just put some people around him. And I think so now I'm looking with much more of a cautious eye. And I do still feel good about it. I'm looking at it like, you know, every pick, every free agent signing, you know, I'm picking through with a fine-tooth comb and I don't see a lot wrong with it. You know, I was convincing myself that it made sense to go get you know, I'm trying to think of who we wasted some money on. Who's the shooter? He just retired.
Bogdanovich.
No. My man, Kimball Walker.
Oh,
Go get Kimball
yeah.
Walker. Go get people like that. I was convincing myself, okay, yeah, we'll be to go get LeBron next free agents. We'll be to go get Paul George. You know, we got the first pick. Now we're gonna have
Salary
80 million.
cap.
That's
Yeah.
not necessarily how it works. I think we are that seems a little premature, but I think we are just in with a harder grading scale. I still feel good about this. Um, we know who Tobias Harris is. He's not on his last leg, a year and a half out of retirement or away from retirement, whatever. He has a lot to prove, a lot of tread left on the tires, if you will. I think he is a perfect fit for this. That's all we talked about was getting young getting mentorship for this young team we have around here, and he's perfect. That's not some guy who's just about to retire. He's in his prime, or maybe a half a step out of his prime, with lots of life left on there. Same Tim Hardaway, probably maybe a little past his prime, but he hit 200 threes last year. If he can do 80% of that, that is better than anything we had on the court all last year, as far as shooting goes. And we know Tim Hardaway. We know he plays solid defense. We know he knows all the rest of it. So I just look at those type of picks or maneuvers, and we are headed in the right direction, man. It's I don't want to put a win total on it, but I right about now, I feel like we'll be flirting with that 30 wins. I think
Yeah.
which will keep us competitive. You know, I'm not mad. I'm not. We roll out next year. I mean, it even sounds crazy to say. We roll out next year 30-52. I know that at some point, like I said, like we said last year, I think heading into the All-Star break, are we in the hunt? Do we feel like we have a shot at being in the play-in? That's all I'm looking for again.
Mm-hmm.
Along with Cade giving us 25, 7-7, along with Ron Holland and them making, their contributes, whatever that looks like, and just rolling out there and hooping. Maybe we catch Boston on the off night. Maybe we catch the Bucks a couple of times. Keep it like that. Keep it interesting where I want to turn on and watch, and we're making the next step where I can feel like, okay, this along with that, or the NBA helps us out, give us Cooper flag or something, then it's on. And that's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I echo a lot of that. And I mean, I'm just like I said, it is kind of interesting just seeing Troy compared to how Trajan's operating, and it's just vastly different. And you know, feeling like we confidently got some solid talent around him, around Cade. I'm saying just to yeah, I mean, we see what he was doing, averaging 23, 7, and 8, with virtually no shooting around him, tossed in 5 or 6 40-point games, 10, 12, 30-point games, a few different double doubles thrown in there as well. Yeah, and I'm also, I mean, and they also kind of say too, this little summer league, I think it's done like next Wednesday, but this is an opportunity where a lot of these guys are around each other, these GMs are having conversations. So I wouldn't be surprised if we, end up in another trade, grabbing somebody. But I do enjoy, like, I don't know, I'm glad that like Trajan's being like patient. It feels
Right.
like, it's not taking on bad contracts just to take them on, taking on for like guys that just want to get bought out and go to a contender, things along those lines. So yeah, it was good watching some good summer league, our new players. I also want to give a little shout out to this guy, Dennis Jenkins. I think he's from St. John's.
Yes, I was going to shout him out too, actually.
Two-way guy. So like, he's essentially going to be part of the team in some capacity, like at least guaranteed this upcoming year. So against the Rockets, 26 points, 6 threes,
Mm-hmm.
8 of 16 from the floor. I feel like we're just, identified, some key guys that, not that Ivy and Asar didn't, show flashes in summer league, but I mean, these guys pretty, like, very, very consistent.
Yeah.
And we're like stat sheet stuffers as well on both sides of the court.
Right. No, I want, actually, I appreciate you doing that, because I want to shout him out too, because he, in one of the games I watched the most of, he was a snipe shooter.
Mm-hmm.
He was knocking him down. He looked good. He was looks a little undersized, but he got some speed to him. He can shoot. He's got a space somewhere around his league, G League for sure. He'll be
Yeah.
around for a hot minute. And I wanted to piggyback off what you said as far as sitting still, but also playing the field for the rest of the year as far as trading. I think if we are in a spot like I think we will be, we do have cap space flexible. We do have assets and some things going for us as far as, some younger players. Duran, I don't think is safe. Uh, Isaiah Stewart isn't safe, I don't think. Somebody like Sar Thompson isn't safe. We have some people
Mm-hmm.
around that playoff caliber type teams want at the end of the day, or that aren't bad to have around your roster if you're going to give up a Brandon Ingram and you're going to get a Durn back and somebody. Good young pieces that you can have as a pencil in starter for you. We have those, so I don't think that's out of the question. But I'm glad that we're sitting back and everybody's excited in November.
Mm-hmm.
Around Christmas, the reality breaks in of okay, this is what we are what we are, and then head
Right.
that into the late All-Star break. People are going to get antsy as far as well. Brandon Ingram hasn't resigned yet. Maybe we should just get off of him. Uh, um, that's the biggest player I'm thinking of. I know there's a handful of Laurie Markkinen, whoever it might be that's kind of getting dangled out there as, hey, we're going to let him go. It's just a matter of when. I do think we're in a very prime spot to kind of sit back and watch that happen. And the only other thing, side note, I don't know if you know this, if we have the 12th pick or worse, it goes to New York.
Yeah, that Duran deal. Yeah.
Yep. So that is
And
what
the
it
Boots
is.
be solid, competitive, but not too good.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if we make the playoffs,
Oh
that's cool.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah, no, yeah.
it's all on the
Hey,
table. Take the pick.
yes, yeah. It'd be night and day difference. So no, I agree with you on
Sure.
that. And just to fact check myself earlier, Trajan Langdon played professional baseball. He did not. He was not in the front office.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, he played with the Padres in '94. And I was like, what?
Oh,
But yeah, um, yeah, no. So this is a side point. I looked that up because I was like, I know I wasn't tripping too much, but no, he was a
yeah.
player, not in the front office. But no. So hey, overall, I think the Pistons headed in the right direction, man. I know there's a few more summer league games left, but yeah, hey, it's football season, and we're gonna kind of put these, and this crazy things happen. We're gonna kind of put the Pistons to on the back burner for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know, I am probably gonna miss next week, but I got some at home things to go ahead and wrap up here. So I know we'll be heading into August training camp.
Mm-hmm.
Probably going to be on the field somewhere for one of those practices. Some preseason games. Michigan's getting ramped up here. Who's the quarterback? We got a lot of discussions. A couple question marks for Michigan football. The Lions season is a question mark. Can you repeat? Do what you did again?
Yeah,
So it's football is upon us here, man. What
that time of year.
realistically 2.5
First preseason
weeks ago
games
we'll
like
have our first games.
third.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Whatever that Hall of Fame game is always like early August. So.
Mm-hmm. Week one college is like I think like the first weekend in August, something like that, or maybe the second weekend. But yeah, it's right on the corner, like you said. Or
And
excuse me,
Grant got college
September.
football, so he's gonna get his whole fix in tonight.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be
Got Michigan 3-0, number one in the country to start so far.
Grant gonna start his dynasty out at fucking 103 for the to the first 9 seasons. No, but you got anything else for the people?
Nope, that's all I got. Back with y'all in a couple weeks here. Peace
Yes,
out.
sir. Peace.